Hey everyone, I'm going to talk about 3 gotchas today. 3 things to look out for that could take a piece of raw land and in essence make it undevelopable, or maybe it's developable but you'll lose your shorts doing it. Before I get into those three items, I first want to talk about, and you've probably gathered this through some of our different content that we've put out there, but just because you see a bare piece of raw land and it would be a great location for, say, a new neighborhood to be built, a new subdivision, it doesn't mean that can actually be done there, right? Is that the 2 most basic things that are needed is the appropriate zoning, right? So it's zoned for residential development, and then also the necessary utilities are at the property to where you could build a neighborhood and the neighborhood could be served, right? Okay, so with these examples, we're gonna start with that the appropriate zoning's in place, and that as far as utilities are there. Okay, let's just assume that's the case. Well, the next thing you need to look out for is there's lots of different things called overlays, right? So like, I'm thinking, I've had a few deals that have had overlays recently. And so like one deal had like a steep slope overlay, another deal had some environmental protected overlays on it. And also actually another deal had a bunch of wetlands shown on the property. So if these properties, they're zoned for development, utilities are there, but they have one of these overlays on them, that overlay can potentially make that deal very challenging, either completely undevelopable or maybe only partially developable. And if only partially, can you still make the numbers work to where the project's profitable? So you really need to watch out for these overlays, and that should be a part of your right up front, right? Even before doing a deal, even before executing a contract with a property owner, you don't want to wait till your feasibility study to verify if there's any sensitive soils or overlays on the property. That's something you want to check right up front, right along with zoning and utilities. But here's where you need to be careful. Just because a piece shows, say, wetlands on it, doesn't mean there actually is wetlands on it. Is that a lot of, some of these, take wetlands, for example. A lot of the mapping that these jurisdictions put in place on where wetlands are, they're done through satellite imaging. They're not actually done with boots on the ground studies. And so there's a particular piece I own that through satellite imaging, it showed the majority of the property wet. But once I did a boots on the ground study, it was actually the majority of the property was not wet. So with these overlays, you still have to verify, right? So it doesn't mean, I'm not saying it's that case with every particular piece of property, but a lot of times these overlays or wetlands or whatever, they're done through imaging and they still need to be verified, satellite imaging. Okay, next is, okay, great, utilities are there, we're good. Well, just because utilities are there doesn't mean that your property can actually be served with those utilities. So certain jurisdictions, for example, won't allow pump stations, right? So where you can pump the sanitary sewer because they want everything to gravity flow. And also a lot of times, even if they will allow pump stations can be extremely expensive and blow up the profitability of a project. So you got to make sure that the utility depths of where the utilities are, like sanitary sewer or storm, or is that the depth of whatever those utilities are in the frontage or in the public right of way that's, say, connected to your piece. You got to make sure they're at a depth where you can gravity feed everything to that main line from the property. So we had a piece not too long ago that the sanitary sewer was right in the frontage of the property, no problem. But the issue is the sewer wasn't deep enough to gravity feed the main line. And so in this jurisdiction wouldn't allow a pump, they didn't allow pumps, and so what happened is that either you needed to wait to develop it until another main line was put in lower down, because there is another main line going in, and it's lower than this property, lower in the valley of that area. But instead, we could make it work through fill dirt, and we could actually lift the site and make the gravity sewer work. So you really need to make sure you verify that you can gravity flow things like sanitary sewer or stormwater. And if not, is there another way to get it done to where it still works? The last thing I was going to mention was off-site improvements or requirements. So, you have your piece of land that you want to develop, but understand that the jurisdiction might require you to make what we call off-site improvements. So improvements that are not on site, not on the property you're looking at. So this could be anything from roundabouts to widening the road, the public road in the area, maybe on the frontage or whatever, your frontage, maybe you have to do widening. They were going to require a signal, on the street, on the road. They're going to require you to extend the utilities to a certain point in the public right of way. There's a bunch of frontage improvements you got to do on that public right of way. I mean, I can go on and on and on, but you need to verify what off-site improvements are going to be required in order for your piece of property to be developed. So I'm kind of rambling, but I guess, so the three things you need to watch out for, verify, is things like overlay / wetlands, your gravity flow of your utilities or your sanitary sewer, storm, things of that sort, and then also your off-sites, right? So what kind of off-site improvements are going to be triggered if your piece develops? So there's many other things, but those are just three things that were fresh in my brain because I've dealt with them recently. And we talk about all kinds of things you need to verify in one of our in our courses, but those are just three things I wanted to share with you today. So, all right, take care. Have a good day. Bye-bye.